Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of I just really wanted to talk about some stuff that's really pissing me off. And first up, shout out to Planet CHH and Christian. Happy birthday. Happy 37th birthday, man. I know it's getting up there. I'm like right there with you. It gets hard once you get close to your 40s, but hopefully you hold your shit together and you don't have too much of a drug problem already. But happy birthday to Christian. Um, Awesome guy. Tends to speak his mind, as do a lot of people. Um, yeah, he's 37 years old. Everybody knows that. Uh, First off, I just want to say that I'm not going to mention in this video any names, entities, um, anything like that. And I'll tell you why. Because, not really because I'm worried about getting sued or I'm worried about people getting mad or anything towards me like that, but mostly because like people have become the biggest candy ass pieces of fucking just whiny, just and this is a rant video, so by definition, this is whining, I guess, but like just I don't know what you would call it, but just super sensitive shit about everything. But what's funny to me about that What's the funniest part to me about that is these cockalongs will say whatever the fuck they want. And then when they say all that shit and do whatever they want and act however they want, then they'll come back and want everybody to be nice to them. Guess what, bitch? That ain't how this works. This is the internet. I've been doing this shit for 20 years. Almost 20 fucking years have I been on this internet doing this. What do you think this is? Did you think you were going to the library? Did you think you picked up your library card and you just were going to waltz in and play on the choo choo trains and shit? No, motherfucker. Anytime you put anything on the internet, like this video, then anybody can say anything about it. So, the one thing above everything else that I am tired to death of is people getting on here and doing whatever the fuck they want, saying whatever the fuck they want, and then not wanting any kind of repercussion from that. As long as I've been doing this shit, as long as I've been doing this, I've been called a hick. I've been called a dumbass. There's shit I can't even say on here that I've been called. Fucking mouth breather. Hey, look, it's been 20 years. I'm still here. You just gotta take this shit and move on. People don't owe you nothing. They don't owe you a fucking apology. They don't owe you an explanation. Some people are not going to like what you do no matter what the fuck you do. So quit trying to get everybody to like what you do. I don't want everybody to like what I do, as a matter of fact. I don't really even want you to fucking like me. I really don't even care. Like, I just want to get on here and talk about stuff that I like, and hopefully you like it. And hopefully, in the midst of all that, maybe you meet some people and like shit comes together. I don't really care. But the one thing that I can't stand more than anything is this idea, and I don't know where it comes from, that you've got freedom of speech without any kind of like repercussion. You don't. You have freedom of speech, and I have freedom of speech. And when you use your freedom of speech, I can get on here and say whatever the fuck I want to about what you said. That's how this works. So don't try to pal up with your fucking buddies. I don't care about you buddies. I promise you I don't. Don't try to pal up with other people and try to make it seem like, if you're doing I don't even know like how to like describe it. If you're doing shit that is controversial, and you know everybody's not gonna like it. Then when people come out and they don't like it, shut the fuck up. Just shut up, man. Like, that's how it works. Like, uh, I actually had to make a list of some like, there's so much shit. Like, I've never made a list on one of these rant videos. I normally just like go by like whatever like comes into my mind. But I swear to God, man, like, stop with this acting like a victim bullshit when you're coming out and just doing the most edgy shit you can think of. And then people get upset about it and say that they don't want to fucking see it anymore. You got two choices, and one of them ain't fucking whining around. Anyway, that's that part. The other part is there's several parts. This is like a multi-part documentary series. Now, I really like want to ease into this. I don't want to upset anybody. But secondly, fuck every horror show that has over 1 million viewers. Fuck all of them. I haven't even seen all of them, but fuck them. That shit is the worst pandering bullshit ever. You know it is. I know it is. Appealing to the most broad audience humanly possible with the most talking heads humanly possible. That's what Fangoria and Rue Morgue used to do back in the day. Well, maybe not Rue Morgue to a greater degree, but definitely Fangoria and definitely Bloody Disgusting too. Let me ask you a question. Why the fuck? And there's people constantly saying to me in one way or another, you need to be more mainstream. Like, you need to you need to count the amount of fucks that you use. You need to you know, we need to try to do more mainstream type of shit to get more people, Why? I hate most people's taste in everything. Why the fuck do I want to pander to everybody that I can't stand their taste in shit anyway? What is it? Why do I want to appeal to them? I want to appeal to the people that don't like every single thing that comes out and have a brain and actually want to have conversations about films that actually know something about films. Why the fuck do I don't know. I can assure you of this. When we started Dead Pit, the goal was not to reach the widest audience possible. I promise you that that was not the main goal. That did happen, especially at that time that happened. That wasn't the main goal. And if we had tried to do that, we would have ended up like all these other fuckers that you don't ever even hear about anymore. We'd ended up like Fangoria or Rue Morgue or like fucking Shock Until You Drop or what no, I'm fine with the people that like our show and the amount of people that like our show. Would I like there to be more? Of course. Do I give that much of a shit where I'm going to go out of my way to try to appeal to everybody that loves every single horror related thing? No, I'm not. Why do I, why do I want to hop around and dress up and wear shit that I think people will like and act like that I'm doing something to a bunch of people that wouldn't give me a tug on Easter fucking Sunday? Why do I care? Like, where was any of those fuckers back in the day anyway? So there's that part. I'm not reading the chat right now. I mean, I am interested in what the chat has to say. Don't get me wrong, but I got a lot of stuff to go through, so just bear with me. There's not enough Kleenexes in the world anymore to dry the tears of everybody that's offended about everything. So please, for the love of God, if you're offended by this, don't hesitate to tell somebody else first. I don't care. I really don't. Third, fourth, I don't know. Um, I I have no interest anymore at this stage in my life of holding back about anything. I have no interest in it. Anybody telling me what I should do or say or how I should act can go fuck themselves sideways. I'm so beyond that point anymore. I don't really care who it is. It ain't gonna happen. So you might want to consider that in whatever the grand scheme of things are. But like, I'm not gonna quit cursing. I'm, I'm not gonna quit saying things that are inappropriate. I'm none of the things that all these other people I'm not gonna ever do. If that means even like, that I don't do this show anymore, like if it comes down to that, I'm fine with it. I'm too old for this shit, man. I'm too old to be like d- doing that shit anymore. Everyone's got to stick up their ass anyway now. So what difference does it make? It's like, what are you going to do? You're going to try to tiptoe around a minefield of just political correct bullshit. It don't matter. It like they'll find something. Somebody will find something. So I'm not doing it. I'm not we don't have sponsors. We'll never fucking have sponsors. I'm not even worried about that. I just find it funny. Like 20 years in this and people like still trying to tell us what we need to be doing. Nah. If I got popular because of that, if this show got popular because of all that, um, I'd feel like a complete fucking phony and an asshole anyway. So what difference would that make? Uh, there's so much stuff, man. Um, yeah. So this another thing too. The '60s died for a fucking reason. Stop trying to act positive about everything all the time. Just stop. Um, there's not a lot to be positive about right now, to be quite honest with you in this world. And the small amount of stuff that there is to be positive about, we're pretty positive about it in general. But the idea that, everybody likes everything, especially this nostalgia trend, um, a little bit of nostalgia is fine. We all love a little bit of nostalgia. That's why we're here. But if like that's all that it is, then there's nothing new, right? Like if you just live in a constant state of nostalgia, then you never like do anything else. There's no new ideas, there's no nothing. We very easily could have gone on here when this show whatever repopulated. I don't know what word I'm looking for. I don't know what we exactly did when we started doing the show like all together again. Very easy to go and done the exact same format that we did before. And which is basically what movies are doing nowadays, which is a sad, sad fucking thing. And you just stay in this spot where you're not ever happy because you're constantly trying to get back to a place in time you can never fucking get back to anyway. I don't give a fuck how many times you watch the Ghoulies or shit like that. You ain't getting back to the 80s, man. Like I love all this stuff, but like you can't you can't stay in it. You just can't. You be a depressed mess all the time. I'm just trying to tell you that part of it. The other part of it is stop trying to act positive about a lot of these companies that are fucking awful. Like, I think we do a fairly good job of promoting a lot of these companies through like going on their sites and things like that. But the thing about it is, Vinegar Syndrome is selling fucking hot trash to Smart Marks. Severin is doing the same thing, except they'll tell you to your face that you're a Smart Mark. And I don't even know what the fuck some of these other companies are doing. But we got to quit acting like this shit is legitimate and like Citizen Kane worthy and shit like that. I mean, a lot of this is pure hot trash. And I feel like that the more like the further along this goes, I don't know if you've noticed this, the further along this nostalgia train goes, the higher the prices are getting. And we are the reason. And I would go even as far to say, and everybody knows this too, you know, if they keep pumping these prices up in anything, in conventions, in physical media, and we keep paying them over and over and over again, they're going to keep hiking the prices of this shit up. There's about a 0.5% of people that fucking can afford to buy every single thing that comes out. But there's a large number of people that are following those people and watching those people and are like, oh, I wish I could have that. I wish I could have this, blah, 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 blah. I don't wish any of that shit. I just wish people would make decent fucking movies at this point. Like, I ain't about the rest of this shit at this point. Nostalgia is really toxic, man. It really is. Um, I think a lot of people know that, like within the cackles of your fucking heart. You kind of realize that. A lot of people probably realize that they're trying to get back to a place in time that they ain't never going to get back to. Um, but you got to talk about movies you haven't seen. I mean, go watch movies you haven't seen. Go fucking try to find new shit. Like, I never thought I would be the one to say this, but for the love of God, man, like the 80s ain't coming back. The 90s ain't coming back. I love them. I don't want to stay in them. I really don't. Which is weird because we got accused of that probably more than anybody here lately. So, I mean, yeah. And finally, and I think most importantly, don't fuck with me. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. Like, I really ain't in the mood to be fucked with. I mean, if you're the one doing the fucking, then you know who I'm talking about. There's a lot of people that have tried to fuck with us over the years, and there's a lot of people that have underestimated us over the years. There's a lot of narcissists that think that they can do that shit with their passive aggressive bullshit and they're fucking running their mouths all the time. No, no. I mean, you can try. I suppose that, the more you talk, the more people think that you're intelligent. I think that's how that works, right? There's even a word for that. But I promise you that that's not the case. So, that being said, you know, we've been at this for a long time. I'm gonna live and die by the shit that I wanna do. I'm gonna live and die by the shit that I think is right for me and the shit that I enjoy. I'm not I'm just not going to live and die by the shit that I think that other people might enjoy. So let's look at the chat. Um, well, there's a super chat. Ollie says, "What podcaster annoys you the most?" Curious. Like I said at the beginning of this, that's an easy answer for me. But I'm not mentioning any names or anything like that. Goddamn bulls. There's like 4,000 comments here. I can't wait to read them. I'm sure that they're all super positive. Hold on. Let's see. Doing the ultimate shoot right now. I guess just doing the ultimate, like just saying the shit that pops into my brain on a daily basis. Cool Duder, he is edgy. He makes a lot of really edgy Amityville films. No, not really. Dead Meat. I don't know anything about Dead Meat, man. I just know that like whenever I try to watch his stuff, it's stuff that like you would know if you've been watching horror films for like 2 years. And so I just that's not my bag. And I don't he's got great production value. I don't feel like pandering to a bunch of people that I like for no reason. I feel like I was. I feel like I really tried to contain quite a bit there. I don't even know which part this was, Garrett, that I was supposed to take it easy on. I'm sure I probably didn't take it easy. Just be a little more positive. There's too much negativity. Or is there? I don't see any negativity. I really like I mean, when you're talking about like Twitter and shit like that, like if you're foolish enough to go on that stuff, then yeah, you probably run into a lot of negativity. But in terms of like YouTube streamers and stuff like that, I never really see that. I see everybody up everybody's ass constantly. I think this is part of the point. Like, none of the people that would be upset would ever be happy with anything anyway. So, like, you think you got this calculated plan, you're gonna, say all the right things and do all the right things. There's no plan, man. There's no calculated that's calculated enough to get around all of the minefield potholes, motherfuckers that just want to like cancel and bring everybody down. I don't. The Dead Meat guy's the least trustworthy guy I've ever seen. I have no idea. That's true. It did. The eclipse is what brought this all on. Deputy of the realest to ever do it, been a dedicated listener since '07. Will be as long as y'all want to do it. Well, I appreciate that. BR. The fact that you guys didn't hold back your opinions is what made me a fan of yours. That's what I'm saying. Like, so why the fuck would we want to like do that now? That's the part I don't get. Like, the thing that made people like our show was the fact that we didn't give a fuck and we said like whatever. And now it's like people are acting like we can't do that anymore because we're going to get canceled. Who's going to cancel us? Who the fuck cancels people? Is there a fucker like going around with like a cancel stamp that I missed? Who is canceling me? Some dude from Cracker fucking Bottom. Who is going to cancel me? Fucking canceled and shit. Saturn says 5,000 loyal viewers who won't get offended by every single syllable you say are way better than millions of posers and pansies. Yeah, pretty much. I don't need that in my life. Hear that, people. He's not here to kiss your ass. You kiss his ass. Whatever the fuck that means. Yes, kiss my ass, please. I'm so used to that on people on our show. Soccer moms. I don't know about all that, but I will say that I'm not afraid. They're 9-year-old kids. What the fuck? Are there 9-year-old kids watching Dead Pit? I hope not. Like, for the sake of everybody. Who cares what they say? I appreciate Dead Pit for keeping it real. So sick of toxic positivity, authenticity all day. Thank you. Dude, you have no idea. The constant stream of bullshit that I hear, just, and to think there was somebody that made a comment that was something like, I think it was on the Vinegar Syndrome, where they're like, it's so sad that they're in their 40s still trying to do this. Well, you know what's sad? The sad part is not that being in your 40s and getting paid to do something that you love to do anyway. And, you know, associating with like-minded people, trying to have some fun with things. The sad part is being in my 40s and have to listen to just bullshit from people that don't know anything about anything, trying to tell you what to do. That's the sad part. I am running for Senate. I'm not sure what platform, Democrat, Republican, um, independent, but I am going to run for Senate of Kentucky. I hate. Well, part of that is YouTube's thing, right? Part of it is the fact that like if you say enough curse words um on YouTube that they penalize you somehow. Like, I don't know what it is. They take away your ads or they fucking take away your birthday party. I don't know what they do. I don't really care. Like, but I mean, I guess that does affect revenue. I'm just telling you that I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it. Like, it's not a possible thing for me. Like, there's something about my brain that's wired that's the way that I've talked since I was a teenager. Like, I can't all of a sudden just be like, "Come on, guys, let's get it all together. Let's be nice." LA Jewel is positive he's depressed. So there's that. I'm going with Yeet on this one. I'm way, way behind on these comments. Wes talking about cracking a fart. Nostalgia needs to die. If I want nostalgia, I'll watch stuff from that time. I don't know if nostalgia needs to die. Just that mindset. Like, I don't think it's bad to go back every now and then. Um, to those, the mindset of like, I think there's a subgroup of people that are only happy if they're back to the fucking future. I don't mean the movie. I mean, like, if they go back in time somehow or another. I don't think that's where you want to be. Modern films are just not good. Well, most part of them, and you do get gems in there, but there's a lot of them. But I don't think. I think there's a lot of good modern films. I think there's a lot of modern films that people shit on, but I'm not sure why they're shitting on them. Like that some of those confuse me sometimes because, like, talking about Pearl, which I thought was a great new spin on like a horror film, and talking about Megan and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that hate that. I'm not sure why. I just I I can't help but think there's a contingency of people that hate things that are not from a certain era. And to be honest, we get accused of that a lot, but I don't think that like that's the case. I want to go back, don't we all? But we can't. I'm calling my jean jacket fraudulent. No, I'm sure it's a lovely jean jacket. Coolies too. That might have been the thing that was the tipping point for this. Yeah. Nostalgia is pretty dumb. It has made me like the Star Wars prequels. God almighty. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm that nostalgic. Um, like I've never been nostalgic enough to like The Haunting, stuff like that. There's people that like you go back, and I guess maybe like by comparison, the majority of like mainstream horror films nowadays do make The Haunting look like Citizen Kane, but yeah. Movie Junkie John says truth, smart marks. Well, that's what it is. I include myself in that too. Not as much now, but I mean, definitely not as much in the last 6 months, but that's what it is. Yeah. This video is greater than CM Punk's pipe bomb. I don't think so. I am pissed. Yeah. Well, that's another thing that happens too. Whenever someone's legitimately angry, one of the things that people do is they like to take jabs at it because it deflates like some of the seriousness of it. Uh, and nobody has a lot of passion anymore. That's another thing that's missing too. Nobody really has passion for a lot of things. So, and the internet's ruined anger just in general. Anytime anybody gets angry anymore, people are like, they'll make little jokes and quips about it and shit like that. Uh, to kind of, I don't know what that is, kind of like take it down a little bit. But legitimately, though, I legitimately like mean everything that I said. And I legitimately mean don't fuck with me. And I'm not joking. Punisher Batman fan says my purchases are way down to prices. Yeah, same. Isn't it though? I mean, you can't really keep all this shit in. Like there's a lot of just phony baloney fucking bullshit going on. Yeah, I agree. It's Biden. I think the real problem that we're dealing with here um, is Biden. But it's all crap. You talking about modern films? I'm thinking Uncle Bill. I don't think it's all crap. If that's what you're saying, Kathy, I don't know. But if you're saying like all modern films are crap, I don't think that's true. Garrett is in tears right now. I somehow highly doubt that. So I'm not sure what Garrett would be in tears about. Who was your favorite Jason? That's such killer like, comment in the middle of all this. Richard Brooker. Exactly. Yeah, it does sell. Um, like I said, I don't even think it's that big of a deal to go in and out of it. I don't think it's a great idea to stay in it. It's like the fucking I tell you what it reminds me of. Follow me on this fucking metaphor here, analogy. I don't know which one it is. Remember in the Dead Zone, the one with Christopher Walken, like the good one, where like he had the psychic power and he would go every time that he had a psychic vision, it sucked a little bit of the life out of him. But as long as he could like do it and then like move away from it from a while, he was all right. It's the same kind of thing. Like if the dude just kept touching people and having psychic visions over and over and over again, like he would have died. That was the whole point of the movie. It's the same thing with nostalgia. I think like your brain just fucking dies. Like if you're just in it constantly. This is a perfect example though, Rackins, and I'm not shitting you on this, nor am I shitting like when I talk about Matt, Carta, um, shit. There's a whole bunch of people, and I'm gonna forget a whole bunch of people, but like the a lot of the people that are, on our Patreon that introduce us to new films and stuff, like I would much rather see that stuff. I don't even give a fuck what it is at this point. Like than I would, you know, the same old shit. Like, and that's really the only way we get to see a lot of stuff because you're not aware of a lot of stuff. If you don't know, you don't know. Like, I didn't know anything about Cat 3 films until a couple years ago, really. That's part of a community, of the horror community, that people love to talk about, but, like, it's like Bigfoot, like, whoever really knows if it exists. Like, people love to talk about it like it does. I see a bunch of, like, backstabbing dipshits, but I suppose there is, like, a a horror community in there somewhere. I know there is, like, with many of the people that I just talked about too, who have a genuine love for films and, like, want to, like, share 'em. Um, but the point of that is, like, one of the good things about having a horror community is they introduce you to stuff that you would have never known about, like, otherwise, like tape traders back in the day, really. Um, and a lot of the stuff that's been really awesome to me, like Sorcerer, like those Cat 3 movies, like a lot of the exploitation style films, I would have never known about had it not been for other people. So yeah, that is, and that's older stuff, but it's not nostalgia. I'd never seen it before. So oh, there's a bunch. There there's a bunch that talk about the same films, the same people, the same subjects over and over and over again. We're pigeonholed by the fact this is a horror show. That's primarily why I, wanted to do Exploit Nation, because it's not horror related, but it's close. We tried for a while. I don't know if you guys remember this, like years and years and years ago, to do like I can't remember what it was called. Wes would probably know. Uh like just a dead pit show that was similar to like Planet CHH, I guess. And it just never worked, it never took off. We're pigeonholed into the horror genre. Um and I really don't that I'm really fine with that. There's ways you can maneuver around that, clearly. Um but even within that, constantly trying to search out new things. Asian cinema, European cinema, giallos, polizia, just anything. Most honest horror podcast, along with some of your guests like that rad dude. Thanks for keeping it real. Wes says, if they get within arm's reach of me, they'd be a paid for some bitch. Yes, it is, because you requested the Airbud commentary. Deadpit is one of the most underrated channels on YouTube. The chemistry between them can't be faked. I every time they do impressions, their opinions are always authentic. Appreciate that. I'm not sure if we're underrated or not. I think we're rated pretty much where we should be. Um, I mean, you get fucking. I don't know how many people listened to the show back in the day. Like, I really have no idea. I think it was quite a few though, because like there wasn't any competition. Um, there wasn't anybody doing that. Now we almost have like 10,000 subscribers. If you just think about that for a minute, like 10,000 people to watch a horror podcast or a horror stream now with two fucking people from Appalachia, two hillbillies. That's pretty amazing in of itself. God, what a bunch of nerds. Appreciate that. Names or the stream means nothing. I guess it's gonna have to mean nothing. I agree with this. As a matter of fact, no, I think that you rarely agree with us, but I think that that's needed too. Like I said, it can't all be like positive. It doesn't work that way. Like nobody gets better by just all positive bullshit, being thrown at them. Although I greatly appreciate the positive bullshit. Thank you, Eli. What do you know, Garrett? I know Uncle Bill answer. Who pronouns, bulls? Who's so fucking annoying? I'm not sure. I don't even know where I'm at in the chat anymore, so I don't know like what I was saying at this point. I think I've said just about as much as I can say about horror cons, really. Um, there's a lot of people that that I like that are involved with horror conventions. Um, and I think it's pretty clear what my opinion about horror conventions are now. And they're coming from an entirely different mindset than I am. But to be honest, my mindset is one of a fan, and their mindset is one of something else. So it's like my mindset is the shit's way too fucking high. And I don't think anybody that goes to conventions, like, you ever met anybody that's at a convention like, wow, that was only like $80 for that autograph. Like, I feel really good about that. Or, wow, that was only like $250 for that photo op. They cut me a hell of a deal. No, you don't ever hear that, and you never will. Bog Zombie says, "DEADPIT's unapologetic honesty is why I love watching and pretty damn hilarious most of the time." Well, thank you, sir. Why is he going to bitch that DEADPIT? Why is he going to bitch that DEADPIT does not make me enough? What? Did I bitch about not making enough money? No, I think I said like I'm trying to figure out where this comes from, where this came from. Why is he going to bitch that DEADPIT does not make me enough money? What I said was, the only thing I remember saying about money is why is it a bad thing to do something that you love and you get paid to do it? Because somebody had mentioned something like, how sad is it that they're in their 40s and they're still trying to do this? And what I'm saying is that yes, we're in our 40s, which you can't turn back the hands of time. So I don't know what the fuck you want me to do about that. But like, why wouldn't I want to keep doing something that I love and still can make money doing? Like, what would be the bad part about those two things combined? I would listen to you guys do a 10-hour shoot and be on the edge of my seat the whole time. I don't think that'll ever happen. It's surface level BS from a lot of these bigger YouTubers. They rely on production value over actual knowledge and passion. Give me smaller channels who know their shit over the hyper stylized phonies. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you noticed this or not. My setup back here is not the greatest. Like, it definitely could be better. I don't have a lot of room in this spot that I have to put a lot of shit because I've got a lot of fucking children that need rooms. And unfortunately, like the one guy mentioned, I can't knock out a fucking wall somewhere and build on over the side of a hill. And I feel like a lot of people probably have this same issue, like because their stuff doesn't look like the set of Friends, and they know like 1,000 times more than these fuckers that like are in California and have these huge setups and stuff, or can afford all this like shit. I think that like that hinders a lot of people that really have a lot of stuff to say. I don't watch any of that stuff. Like, why would I? Like at this point, after 20 years of like watching horror films, talking about horror films, analyzing horror films, like why would I watch shit that's gonna talk about like Nightmare on Elm Street 3? Like, why would that happen at this point? I'm gonna watch something that's gonna be talking about like a fucking Umberto Lenzi Giallo film. And unfortunately, the people that do Umberto Giallo films don't have a $50,000 budget to bring in the lights and the, shit. But I don't give a fuck. I mean, I really don't. And if you do, I feel like that says more about you than it does about them. Giving your genuine opinion is negative these days. Yeah, I mean, if it's opinion that like is going to call people out on shit, it is. That happened, and I almost got my ass kicked for that. I'm not a big dude. I don't know if anybody knows this or not. I'm not a big guy at all. Um, and the dude that I was yelling at was I would say he was 6'5" or 6'6", so that was not a good that was probably in hindsight not a smart idea. There's a lot, Christian, but happy birthday. On your birthday, I don't feel like I should continue to get as worked up as I did. I appreciate that, Justin. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm glad that you did. At least, hopefully, you enjoyed it. The truth is, people don't want to admit how bad the times we live in are. Ignorance is bliss. The truth hurts a lot of the time, but the truth is, the most modern movies are mediocre or bad. I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, yeah, like LA Night, yeah. I mean, most modern horror films are objectively bad. So I'm trying to remove that piece of my brain that wants to hang on to like the nostalgia in the 80s and the 90s. You can do this. This is a possibility. I know people believe that like everything that we think is based on like some sort of like pre-programmed 80s script. But if you look at certain elements of a film, you can objectively make a decision like acting, script, dialogue, cinematography, those kind of things. If all of those things are bad, objectively, that is a bad movie. Sometimes it gets a little tricky because it transcends all that and becomes good, bad. But for the majority of films nowadays, it's the writers, man. The writers don't know what the fuck is going. They don't know what they're doing because they're just brought in to pander to everybody. They don't have a vision for anything. These directors don't have there's maybe a handful, maybe 5 directors I can think of that have a real vision for what they're doing. So even though I'm constantly trying to seek out modern like films to watch, I do not rely on the mainstream. Like I just don't. That's just me. Maybe you do. Tabata says Dead Meat and Chris Stuckman definitely come from the same Skynet assembly. I used to actually kind of like Chris Stuckman. I like the here's the part I liked about him. Just the camera in the face. There was a period of time. I don't know if he still does this shit now. He basically had a setup just like this, just a camera pointed in his face. He would just talk about a movie. He would edit it. He was a pretty good talker. I mean, he was like Bret Hart level good. So like a 6 out of 7 on a promo. Um, And I enjoyed, some, and then it got progressively more just agenda driven. I'll say that. And I don't need that. I don't think anybody does when it comes to horror films or films. You should. You should block everyone that hates The Last Starfighter. That's a good, solid idea. It's not really a thing, no. People think it is. People are scared to death of it. I think the people that are scared of cancellation are the people that are scared of people not liking them. That's what it really boils down to. And that's something within you that I can't fix. That is a great quote. Yeah, the only person that can cancel you is you. It's true. I mean, you can get fired. You can get shamed. You can get ridiculed. Um, just about anything you can think of. You can lose just about anything. The only thing you can't lose is your attitude about how you deal with the shit that you've lost. So my attitude is I don't give a fuck. Like my attitude is I am willing to accept the consequences of the stuff that I say. And my attitude is that I don't want to be told what I like. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to be told like what to say. I don't want to be monetized really. Um, Anytime you monetize something, you know what that really means? It means like they own a piece of your ass. It means that like you watch everything that you say and you're in fear of everything that you say for that you lose like $1 or 2. Okay, let's do that. Sounds like a fun time. Dylan says, honesty goes a long way. That's why I always love you guys. Fuck cancel culture. Stay true to yourself. Naked and afraid. I don't even know what this means. It must have been in reference to something I said way back, but I've lost the thread of the chat. DEADPIT is my safe place. It's comfortable. It's relatable. It's a place where people who don't give a damn what people say can enjoy listening to other people who don't give a damn for 20 years. Yeah, pretty much. I don't want the stuff that I listen to be just be an echo chamber of my own opinions. Yeah, me either. And this is the quote of the night. And you should all really like pay attention to this because this is 100% true. You're from Kentucky. What's left to fear? I mean, I don't know if people realize this, but we do live in the most poverty stricken, depressed, and I don't mean depressed like moping around depressed. I mean like depressed in terms of like the the culture and the everything is just kind of like canceled out for you in terms of stuff that you can do. Uh Hard time, dusty roads promo style place that you can live in. People are dying all over the place from everything you can think of. Cancer, shit in the water that'll fucking kill you, coal miners with black lung. So at this point, yeah, being from Kentucky is like Escape from New York. Been listening for nearly 20 years. You're doing it right. Thank you, sure. Sure. Thank you, sure. Just like fucking Sean Connery came in here for a minute. Dead Pitt should do the new Exorcist films. Anybody should do them besides the last one. I can't even put that up, but I wish I could. If you're not honest, then what's the point? I think I know what the point is for a lot of people, but save that for another day. Stared into the sun too long today. Yeah. Stared into the soul too long today. Uncle Bill is the William Freakin of reviewers, blunt, honest about his opinions. I appreciate that, Black Peter. That means a lot from Black Peter. Outrageous the nerve. Is listen, this is a bunch of um what would you call them? I don't I'm not I want to be able to follow this what this is, but it's just a bunch of like statements. I don't know at what point these things are being said. We honestly need something outside of YouTube where we can be ourselves and away from the nanny wokesters who limit what people can say or like. I think there's a lot of that at conventions. For everything bad that I talk about with conventions, that is one thing that I do think is really good. Is it like there's a lot of like-minded people um, that are kind of in on it. That that they're there to talk and genuinely love the genre. And then there's also a bunch of people that are carnies that want to take your money. Hell yeah, Kenny Levels. November. It's coming. Uncle Bill. The only positivity that I'm here to say is that I found DeadPit when you guys came back, keeping it creepy, being genuine, and not kissing one ass. Wishing I'd found you guys sooner. Rambo, who is probably the king of this kind of thing, says, if you're not honest, then what is the point? I know I make a lot of people mad all the time, but at this point, I could care less and less about that. And I'm just going to say what I want to, regardless if folks like me. Yeah, Rambo, but you know what other people will say? They'll be like, well, you can't reach a big mainstream audience if you do it like that. You can't make the big money and go off into the fame of fortune of YouTube. That's something to aspire to, I suppose. I would like to be Back to the Future. Dude, that's a callback. I miss that dude. You want to talk about somebody that didn't give a shit? Bring back Adam Beck. Like, I don't even need to be here. I'm a gimmick. Like, Adam Beck is the real deal. Like, there's a dude that genuinely didn't give a shit and said, like, exactly what he thought about us, movies, and anything else. I miss that dude. Him and T-shirt Joe, two of the most authentic people, whether you like that or not, that I've ever met. Boy, ain't that the truth. It's an interesting thought. The internet killed the patience that creativity needs to thrive. It definitely killed people's attention spans, and definitely in that regard, patience. Yeah. Nostalgia definitely has its place. If it wasn't for nostalgia, John Carpenter might have never made The Thing. Yeah, I think I've said that a couple times throughout this. It definitely does have its place. Just can't stay in it. You got to move in and out of it. I wonder if middle-aged people in the 50s were like, "If this movie has sound in it, it fuck right off." You know they were. They were probably like at that point, they were probably like, "Fuck this TV. The radio's where it's at." God, moving pictures, my ass. I wanna hear Uncle Quacky's Fun Time Hour. What did I have for dinner? Chinese. It's really good too. I hadn't had Chinese in over like a year, 2 years. It was good. Yeah. PT says, watched along the Dead Pit commentary video. Next day had a bologna and cheese and onion sandwich, which is my favorite. Felt like a kid again. Every now and then nostalgia does the heart good, though not the bologna. That's very true. There's actually studies that show that at certain times in your life, and especially if you're prone to anxiety, that nostalgia can actually help you. Um, for example, if you move to somewhere new, a lot of people will engage in nostalgia as a form of stress relief. Um, and it has been shown to reduce anxiety in small doses. In larger doses, it's like taking Xanax. You take a little bit of Xanax, you'll be all right. You take Xanax like multiple times every day, it's going to make your anxiety worse. The reason for that is it's like rebound anxiety. Like you get tolerance to it to the point where it doesn't matter how much you get, it's never going to be enough. But you keep going back, trying to get more and more and more. Let's see. Darren says, I've been doing YouTube a year now and I've seen through all the bullshit on here. I felt the same. I felt the way you have for a long time. Yeah, Darren, welcome to the wonderful world of horseshit. The internet and social media makes everyone go in the same direction, and that's the problem. It's definitely part of the problem, yeah. I'll leave with the super chat. Says, I know that all opinions are subjective. I get it, but why do some fans slash marks put over ends? You mean Halloween ends? Like it still baffles me on a comedic level. Must be old. Well, I mean, I don't know because to me, objectively, that's an example of a bad movie, but I don't know. I don't know. I said that I am part of that. Like, to be honest with you, I'll buy any slasher film. Like, I really don't give a fuck what it is. I'm not trying to deflect from anything. This ain't Richard Nixon. Collider is a great movie reviewer. That's not one that I know. Have to admit that probably half the Vinegar Syndrome films I have are not that great. I'm thinking it's more like 60% of the ones that I have are not great. 60 to 70. I don't even know I didn't watch Garrett's Room Tour. I don't know. Uh, None of Garrett had anything to do with any of this. Chrissy says Brad introduced me to Cat 3 films. The Untold Story is a disturbing masterpiece. Yeah, it is. The last 10 minutes of that movie is something I don't really want to watch ever again. Good movie though. Before, I mean, it's a good movie with that, but it's just a good overall movie. I agree. It's a Tom Savini quote, I'm pretty sure. Pred with the super chat says, "Hope this cheers you up a bit. Awesome horror channel day pit will always be." Thank you, Pred. I'm really not depressed as much as I am just angry. Frustrated, angry. It's like CM Punk. Frustrated, angry. Work with a bunch of children. Except I don't work with a bunch of children. Thank you, Matthew Hoare. I'm sure there will be at some point a watch along with that in the very near future. I do. I hate love and everything that love has to offer. It's not a shoot, Ollie. It's a rant. There's a big difference. Brandon says, "I got harassed for saying Skinamarink sucked. I'm sorry the film sucked. I'm not going to pretend the film was good. It was cat piss." I don't know who the fuck harassed you for that, but that's one of the dumbest people of all time because that's not even a movie. That's becoming more and more true. I'm not gonna lie. Like the fees just to get in and the parking fees and all the shit that they hit you with, like it's becoming more and more difficult just to even go to a convention. That's kind of what we noticed too. Hey, bend over. Glad I finally subscribed. Found you from Garrett stream with you on WrestleMania's post show. Well, killer. Yeah, I got to knock this fucking wall out over the side of the hill, I guess. I can't even post that name anymore. God, that'll be a great shoot one day, though. I've got to get caught up on some of these comments. Yeah, I mean, if you somebody mentioned Robert Eggers, like talking about like newer filmmakers, um, not a lot of people. I mean, people have different opinions of this stuff. Ty West, Robert Eggers, Ari Aster, Brandon Cronenberg, Damien Leone. There's a lot of good ones to me since MySpace. That's actually true. The one thing in my life that I really regret is that I can't do a Stone Cold impression. Like I'm gonna really have to work on that. I feel like there's one in there somewhere. Monetizations tends to, yeah. Well, the reason I know this is just on a smaller level. You saw this shit happen constantly back in the day when these little pop up, horror shows and stuff would start getting screener copies. And then all of a sudden, Flight of the Living Dead was the greatest fucking film of all time. It was like the best movie of 2007 or whenever it came out. It's like, no, it's not. But what was happening is that these guys were just so ecstatic to get screeners that they put everything over. And I think that's the same shit that happens now. Except now it's a little bit different because now you've got to like obey this arbitrary, ever-changing list of rules that YouTube has in order to continue to make money, I guess. It is hard times in Hazard. You know it is. It's harder times in Martin, I think. I just got to it, Brandon. I'm way behind on this chat. I apologize. Did they get rid of fucking Calipari? Please tell me they did. I didn't see this, but like that would be the thing that you want to brighten my mood. Like that would brighten my mood more than anything. I don't have a go-to soda because I don't drink a lot of soda anymore. This is water, believe it or not. Sugar-free Red Bull is the thing that I drink if I'm usually going to drink. Sometimes I'll drink regular Coke. That's about it. Or unsweet tea. I don't know. What's your second favorite Carpenter film? Damn, son. Halloween. Food, music. Yeah, that's about it. Yes, he is. Dig. What's up, Johnny Darko? The deal with all the superhero movies is they're the lowest common denominator, and they've got a formula figured out to make money. It's failing a lot of the time now, but they did have a formula that paid off for a while. I think that'll be gone here pretty soon. Every stream, no matter what it is, where's the trick or treat on 4K? Ask Michael Felsher because clearly it's his fault. So, Red Shirt Pictures. I think it's like redshirtpictures.com. Red Shirt Pictures has got to be on something. Ask Felsher. I have a question. Is this just your opinion, or does CK think this way too? To be quite honest, I have no idea what CK thinks about a lot of this shit. I mean, some things I do, but I'm speaking for myself. I ain't speaking for anybody else. I never do that. Neilbog, will the tour of Italy return? Yeah. Yeah. At some point. I think more than likely Exploit Nation will return before the tour of Italy does, though. God, that could be that'd be the best thing could ever happen. I don't give a damn where he goes. Just get him the fuck out of here. Let them deal with him. No tournament game winning motherfucker. You're you're objectively correct, Super Batman nerd. That shit's awful. It tastes like if you're drinking potpourri. Yeah, I think a lot of the reason that we don't have Manscaped or Dollar Shave or the month sponsors is because of me. Yeah. You got a successful radio show, rivalry with Eli Roth. The documentary made a loyal community, good supporters, and over 200 folks watching this stream. You made it. That success. Haters can eat it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I want a rival that's going to end up making us like twice that in revenue from when we sell it. Which is better? Something about Mary or Kingpin? Kingpin. Jackson Jack wants to know what's that? Yeah, from it's LA Night. I just started watching wrestling again. Now I can't stop doing that, which I feel like is probably what people have been doing for the last year or two that I've actually been watching wrestling. So I guess that's it. I'm out of questions and I'm out of shit to rant about. I appreciate everyone for coming in here and listening to this. For those that know, you know, and for those that don't, you never will. I can't help you. Um, but every now and then, like a bunch of stuff just piles up, and I'm like, I just want to throw all this out there into the void where it will live on in infamy. Nothing will really come from it, but I feel better about it. I 100% could kick that guy's ass. Yes, good question. Did the eclipse make you think about life? No. The eclipse was kind of anticlimactic, to be honest. Oh, thank you, sir. John Public, yeah. I mean, there were 3 or 4 films that I watched, based on stuff that he had talked about. I recommend Evil Dead Trap. I recommend, Taxi Hunter. I definitely recommend Untold Story. I haven't seen Untold Story 2 yet, but I'm gonna buy it soon. Do you think we'll quit physical media and retire? Yeah, I'm going for 20 years. I'm telling you right now. This is a bombshell tonight. Uh, I'm going for 20 years. So 20 years of Dead Pit, even though there was a break, I still consider it 20 years because it never went away. It was like herpes. It kind of like went into remission and came back. Um, 20 years would be what? December of 2025. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. Hold on. I'm pretty sure I read it. Am I losing my fucking mind or did I not read that? Yeah. This one, I got harassed for saying Skinamarink sucked. I'm sorry the film sucked. I'm not gonna pretend the film was as good as it was cat piss. Yeah, I agreed. Like I said, that whoever said that's a idiot, or whoever said that to you is an idiot, I should say. The spin the wheel, make the deal, spin the deal. Yeah, that'll be coming back for sure. Chips. Like I really wanted to get this movie, and it sold out like pretty much immediately. Um, I think there's a website called Error 4444 that sells just like really obscure Asian stuff. Pretty good packaging and things like that. And it sold out almost immediately. Nobody really was able to get a copy of that. Now, if you want it, it's $150 on eBay. Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad I got it off my chest too. The last live concert I attended. That's such a killer answer to that question. Because I'm pretty sure it was JoJo Siwa, who has a wonderful new song out where she humps somebody into oblivion. I hope so, man, because like I really do want to get that, at least that movie. But yeah, before I get off here, anybody got any questions, comments, random thoughts? An hour and 30 minutes seems like a short time to do a stream, which is depressing. It's at 12:30 at night. What the fuck am I doing with my life? Oh, what's worse, the last slumber party or last slumber party? Easy. JoJo Siwa is for kids. I took my kids to it. She is now humping people into oblivion. Yes. Not anymore, Jackson. She's not pretending to be. Peter Freakout says he just saw Immaculate, one of the most overrated horror films I've ever seen. That's saying a lot. What's the deal with that other movie too? I keep getting that one and the other one mixed up. Imaginary, like about the teddy bear. I know you guys dug zombie ass. Check out Dead Sushi. It's batshit crazy. Okay. Thank you, Dylan. That's actually one thing that I'll say for you. You've always done that as well. What was the last movie you got genuinely excited to go see in the theater? God. Oppenheimer? I mean, I was pretty hyped about that movie, and it actually turned out to be a really good movie. I like going and seeing stuff like Scream 5 and 6 and Evil Dead Rise and um whatever Halloween movies we've seen. Like, no, I don't get excited for that stuff at all. Yeah, apparently, the first Omen, much to my surprise, has gotten really good reviews and is supposed to be a really good movie. I don't believe it, but that's what they say. Any future keynote, Lord, were you looking forward to? Yeah, Rambo, you sent me one, actually, that is probably my most looked forward to um release from them, which is The Perfect Weapon, Jeff Speakman. I've waited for that movie to come out ever since I was a kid, and not in a Vinegar Syndrome fan kind of way. I just watched that movie a lot on cable. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm not saying it's classic. It kind of is a classic, though. What's up, Dead Recliner? It's a hell of a name. I love that name. I'm excited for Mac. I'm excited for any of those movies. I'm excited for Mia Goth to come out there and be like, "Hey, what's this very? It's very high pitched." Uh-oh. The Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is on Netflix and HD. I think we all know what that means. Perfect Weapon is awesome. Street Night is good too. Love Jeff Speakman. Would you let Mia Goth kick you in the jaw? I don't know about all that. I did see Infinity Pool, one of the craziest damn movies I've ever seen. But that dude, Brandon Cronenberg, has his own style, man, which I appreciate. Speaking of like not getting trapped into like one thing over and over again. Infinity Poon. It's a great name. Infinity Poon. Battle to the death, a steel cage match. Mia Goth's no eyebrows versus Danielle Harris's weird one eyebrow. The Last Kumite, a film that's an homage to Bloodsport. The composer of Bloodsport's, oh my God. Stan Bush is doing new songs. It has Cynthia Rothrock, Billy Blanks. There's no way I'm not watching that movie when it comes out. Ian, y'all. I had never heard of it, Scratch, until right now. Let me tell you something. That's one thing I'd like to do at some point as a show. I don't want to do a tier list of it. I'd just like to figure out a way to do like top 10 soundtrack or top 10 scores, I should say, not top 10 soundtracks. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and he would definitely have one or two possibly in that top 10. I cannot post any of the last 3 comments that people have put on here, but I thank you for putting them on here. Not soundtracks, and not just horror soundtrack. It would be like scores, just movie scores. Top 10 movie scores, not necessarily related to horror. Well, yeah, I was thinking like I've got mine whittled down to like I know what the top 3 would be, And then after that, like I've got some, I don't know what order they would be in, but I've got a pretty good lot of them in my head about what I know I would pick. Mark's always got like the best call outs of movies, scores. Never seen The Visitor from 1979. Anyway, before I go, does anybody have anything that they would like to rant about? Because I would love to hear it. Is there anything in the horror genre, movie genre in general, that just pisses you off? And I will read it on here. And you can feel the catharsis, can feel the power like the New Day. OCP, it's good to have you on here, man. Just caught up with you on the stream. Thanks for speaking the truth. I feel you on everything, especially with being PC or people having lowered expectations in the horror community due to nostalgia. Oh God, I forgot about this, Rambo. Yeah, James Cameron saying I would never do a film like Terminator today because of the gun violence. Um, that's actually, yeah, a quote. Um, I think it was today that I saw that. I don't even know how to feel about that. That's such a fucking weird take because that's an argument that I thought died off in the 90s was like the guns in films cause gun violence, and but here we're back to that shit again, I guess. He's a killer. Manic Exorcism says, I hate how everyone now acts like Jason Goes to Hell is some sort of unsung masterpiece. It's killer. Super Batman Nerd says YouTube and their non-cussing shit. Jackson says, I'm tired of movies being so damn serious. Shit needs to be fun again. Movie Junkie John, Big Match John says, gun violence, it's fiction for fuck's sake. I don't get why people are so dumb. Same. Noah says, maybe I'm old fashioned, but I fucking miss movies shot on film. I just don't love how overly digital stuff looks sometimes. Same on that as well. John Pogue says, I'm beyond ready for some of these normie horror fans to piss off onto the next trend already. I love horror, Scream 6, Exorcist Believer. It's my favorite film of all time. Alpha says, I'm sick to fucking death of air hand dryers and public restrooms. Time consuming and leaves your hands cold and clammy when you walk out. Fuck air hand dryers. You know, I figured out the secret to air hand dryers, though, Alpha. And this is not a joke. When you get under an air hand dryer, most people just like put their hands under there and they turn them and they turn like that. You got to like rub your hands like you're putting in like lotion or something while they're underneath the air dryer. And then they actually get fucking dry. It's a combination of friction and the heat and the whatever. OCP says he loves Jason Goes to Hell. It's an unsung movie with great gore. Manic Exorcism says Godzilla versus Kong felt like a big stupid cartoon. Did I ever mention that I hate Godzilla movies? I actually hate King Kong movies too. I think that's a huge waste of everyone's time and life. Can't post that either. That's killer. Oh God. Yeah, I mean, I've heard almost everybody say that. I just will never watch it. because I just can't stand Godzilla movies. Um, do you like jump scares in horror films? I think that, yeah. Um, there's still a bunch of ghost films that try to do that, but overall, like I think everybody's pretty much tired of the jump scares, except teenagers. I don't care about them. Godzilla movies changed my life, and Uncle Bill's saying this. Yeah, I just don't like them. This is a great point. I hate that Hollywood lectures you, and yet they're full of weird perverts, like some of the folks on Quiet on Set. It's such a weird dynamic, though, isn't it? By the way, anytime anybody like comes out and tells you like the moral or right thing to do, you can about 100% guarantee that they are doing some fucking crazy stuff behind the scenes. Like it just down the line, Jimmy Swaggart, P. Diddy, uh, just go down a David Courage. Like anytime anybody is telling you, like, this is what you need to be doing, this is the right way to do it, this is how I do it. Yeah, there's something. There's skeletons hanging all in them closet shitters. What's up, Dirk? You really should have been here for this. I think this would have been interesting. Just got home from taking my Modesty Gone with the Wind, the 85th anniversary. Jesus, is that 85 years old? God almighty. I've never seen that movie either, by the way. Bill Cosby, that's a great example. Yeah, for those people that haven't seen that documentary, that's a tough watch, man. Quiet on Set, I just watched it yesterday, no, Saturday and Sunday. Um, it's just for those people that don't know, a compilation of like different episodes talking about Nickelodeon and the culture at Nickelodeon and how like Dan Schneider and Brian Peck. Brian Peck was in Return of the Living Dead. He plays Scuzz, I think, and went on to be a writer and a pedophile, like a convicted pedophile. And he worked at Nickelodeon, got fired from Nickelodeon, was convicted of that sexual assault charge, and then got hired at Disney almost immediately. Um, it's that documentary is just depressing in so many ways. Hulk Hogan, yeah, I just took my vitamins and prayed really hard. Yeah, I took all the drugs. Quiet on Set proved that the most normal looking normies are the scariest. Yeah. It definitely proved one thing, I think, above anything else, which is that if you give any like some there's a quote, I can't remember what it is, but like if you really want to see what somebody's like, give them some power. Like nothing brings out like what a person's true personality is more than like a little bit of power. I'm not digging this new direction that horror and Hollywood period are heading. I'll buy a classic for the fourth time over 9% anything newly released. Yeah. Well, I mean, Hollywood's not really doing anything. Like the shit that they're doing is the first Omen, which it may be a great film, but it's a rehash of the Omen. OCP says, I'm really tired of people saying films are problematic or have aged poorly because times are legitimately different decades ago. or acting like history doesn't exist. Yeah, people have lost all kind of context of. I, like I feel like they look back at movies from like the other people look at movies from the 40s and 50s and stuff and be like, compare them to what they think movies should be like now. That's not how that works, man. Like things were completely different then. Like we didn't live then. We have no idea what the zeitgeist of that time period was. And the same thing for the 80s and 90s. Like that was a completely different time. You can't like judge those kind of things on stuff now. Cause stuff now is fucking crazy for one thing. Hopefully Quiet on Set will keep young people from going anything like that though. I mean, the weird thing is people have been saying this stuff for years, like Feldman, um, Alyssa Milano. I know everybody hates Alyssa Milano. Uh, so many of the like younger stars were saying stuff like this was happening and nobody believed them. They thought they were crazy. Treated them like they were crazy. Turns out they were right. Yeah. Yeah, this is where we're at, pretty much. That's the same way it was too before. Guys like Steve Miner and Sean Cunningham, nobody like really even knew who they were, even back 10 years ago. It boggles my mind that my generation that are new to the horror genre would rather allow people who do not know what they're talking instead of following people like yourself. Huh? I think we're a very small niche kind of thing, to be honest. I don't think we should be popular. I think we should be like the circle jerks, to be honest, or System of a Down or something like that. Like System of a Down was probably the most popular, unpopular band of all time. Like so many people didn't get what they were doing, and then like a very small percentage of people got what they were doing and really, really loved it for both those bands. And I feel like that's where we should kind of be. OCP says the lack of context kills me. They want everyone to live in a bubble. And they don't understand how people in the past had no idea what the standards are currently. That's true. Everyone wanted Richard Stanley head for about a day. Well, yeah, the one that really got me, and Matt, you'll remember this, was the French Connection thing, where they did in fact edit out the French Connection, like scenes out of the French Connection for being problematic, which I think is like censorship. I don't think you should ever do that. I don't give a fuck what the reason is. Cardis with the super chat, $10. Thank you, man. Saw the Beyond 4K at our local horror film fest in NOLA. Looks and sounds amazing. Full crowd in a rowdy theater. Younger Gen Z crowd laughed at the movie in the beginning. Standing ovation at the end. That gives me hope. Um, I just can't wait for that to actually come out on physical disc. I'd love to see it. It's not going to be anywhere around us, though. This is another fun thing that they love doing nowadays. I also dislike when people try to pretend old movies had woke modern messages that they didn't have. Like Wizard of Oz was about women destroying the patriarchy. Yeah, that's a fun thing for people to do that want to see stuff and that doesn't exist. It also hurts to see entire films or shows canceled because someone involved with it is a creep or broke the law. Cancel the people in the wrong, not everything. It's unfair to everyone else. Yeah. Yeah. There is to me. I think, and people, say whatever you want about this. My favorite, or one of my favorite YouTubers that's immensely popular is Charlie. Penguins with a Z. I think he's got like close to 15 million subscribers. But I enjoy like his commentary on, games, movies, pop culture, creeps, stuff like that. I think he deserves that. He's a genuinely interesting guy to listen to, and he doesn't really have a gimmick per se. What is this? I remember when that guy called into the show to his film, and CK just hung up on him. I could totally see that happening. Red Letter Media, that's a good example. Yeah. James Rolfe, thank you, video. I liked him before, but I don't know. I haven't watched anything that he's done in years. Let's see. The RoboDoc that just came out is fully accurate, saying how woke shit is and how it's a feminist piece. It's a documentary about RoboCop. They're trying to say that RoboCop is a woke film. Is that what you're saying? God, I hope not. The country musical words. That actually works. The country musical words. Oh shit. If I say that together because of my accent, it actually sounds like that. Uncle Bill, did y'all watch the country musical words? No. Oh, fucking, what's the one guy? I watch him too sometimes. The drinker. Is it like the critical drinker? I think he's got a couple million, I believe. I like his stuff. Anyway, we're about 2 hours in. I appreciate everybody coming on here and indulging me in this. I'm not gonna talk down about what I said because I feel like that lessens like what I said, and I don't have any intention of doing that. Like I said, I mean what I say. I take this seriously. I've taken this seriously for 20 years now. I take film seriously. I take horror film seriously. I take fans that like horror film seriously. I don't have any intention of poking fun at this shit that I said, and I don't have any intention of being lighthearted about it. So if you do, you can fucking do that, but I'm not going to. Like, have a good night, enjoy yourself, but it is what it is. I meant what I said. And enjoy the wokeness and the positivity. Bye.
Give us the thumbs up.
Off you butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a fuck.
I want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last Out on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows, fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.